and welcome to the next video of my LCS Summer 2022 preview. We're covering Immortals. Finishing 10th in spring was a letdown. They made a lot of moves, 3 moves to be exact, in their starting lineup going into summer. They kept the solo laners, which was the strongest part of their team. We're going to get into that. If you missed my video yesterday, I went over... Who was yesterday? Oh, CLG. Of course, CLG was yesterday. So I'm going to go over the players and the academy players behind them, and we're going to, get a vibe for what Immortals has to offer going into summer. So, like I said, 5-13, finishing 10th in spring. Academy 5-8-5, finishing 5th. I still don't understand how those records work, but 5-8-5, finishing 5th. News: Ignar is signed. Destiny goes away to C9. Wild Turtle leaves. They bring in Lost from Golden Guardians. And then they bring in Kenvi from 100 Thieves Academy. Xerxes goes to Astralis. So those are 3 players in their starting lineup in jungle, bot, and support that were not there in spring. Top lane Revenge. I actually was surprised with how Revenge's stats actually look. He's better than I expected on paper. Obviously, this is a situation, I'm going over minor regions with stats, and I didn't watch any of those players play, but I watched almost every game of the 4 major regions in spring, like 90% of them. So, Revenge on paper looks better than I think he does on the Rift. He gets caught out a lot. I think oftentimes he's like non-existent in games, but a KDA under 2, not very good. But the CS is near 8.5, which is very high for a top laner. Anything above 8 is good. The higher, the better. And you see a KP that is lower as that CS gets higher because they're in lane more, not fighting as much, playing solo lane champions. But when you look at Revenge, 52.4 KP. So that's actually, is that more split push style? Yes, it's on the solo lane side of 55. But we've seen players in the high 40s with CS numbers like this. So he farms very well. 21% kill share, which is pretty solid for a top laner. Nearly 23% gold share, which is very high. I'm not surprised by that, though, after looking at the bot lane stats that Arrow put up, and I guess even Wild Turtle, who got benched for Arrow. Gold was not hard to come by on this team, at least when it came to the share. And Revenge played 9 champions in 18 games. Vital, their top laner, no stats to find. Nothing. So they're going with a really raw and unproven top laner in Academy. So Revenge has actually no pressure. I will say I do find that to be a little bit concerning. I am of the belief that you should have your best Academy team possible at all times. Going with a guy with no experience, it's probably very cheap, is not going to help Revenge get better during the week in 1v1s and things like that. And it's going to hurt the Academy team in general to have a guy that maybe that isn't, and he has no pro experience. He has no team experience. It's just, I don't understand it. So, Jungle, Kenvi, coming from 100 Thieves Academy. A lot of teams have wanted him for a long time. He finally gets a look. 2.83 KDA, over 6 CS per minute in Academy. That is massive. 6 CS per minute for a jungler is, carry type numbers. Usually we see guys 5.5 to 6 to be that way. So he clearly was ready for a push to the LCS. Nearly 70% KP. Similar to how I talk about top lane, a player that has, high farm numbers usually doesn't have high KP as well. And he did. Nearly 29% kill share. He was the carry for 100 Thieves Academy. 29% kill share are 80 carry-like numbers. And only 20% gold share. So he wasn't getting gold, but getting a ton of kills and farming well, which he should have been getting more gold. But then again, 100 Thieves Academy was very good. You see Gamsu going to Dignitas. We'll talk about him another day. I think Insanity as well is getting a look elsewhere from the mid lane. So I think Kenvi, on paper, his stats look phenomenal. We'll see how he turns out in the LCS. Chad behind him got 1 game, the final game of the LCS split. He looked awful. Immortals looked very bad in that game. Both Chad and Joey's stats are from that game. Chad, I think, played Lee Sin, had a 4 CS per minute. I mean, it was bad. Very, very, very bad. And I don't even think his stats in Academy looked all that good. When I looked at him at that time, I was like, why is this guy up? I don't understand it. Clearly, it makes sense that they went outside of the org for a jungler, and I think I went over that in my video where I went over the non-playoff teams in the LCS and what they had to do in the offseason to get to the playoffs, or at least contend. And I mean, addressing the jungle issue is one of them. Mid lane Power of Evil. PoE's been around for ages. PoE does his thing. We know what we're getting out of him. Control mage player. Does some weird builds from time to time, but he really isn't going to get too crazy in mid. 3-2-2, nearly 9 CS per minute. One of the better one of the better pure laners that we have in the LCS. Nearly 78% KP with nearly 9 CS per minute is damn incredible. Then again, maybe there wasn't a lot of movement by this team, not a lot of roaming, which makes sense because PoE is more of a lane dominant player. He is not going all over the place. So maybe that, the team played more around team fight focused situations with a revenge in the side lane. 24% kill share, 23% gold share, played 8 champions in 18 games. PoE is very good. Definitely Revenge and PoE are the 2 strongest players on this team. Pretty behind him, 5.45 KDA, 861 CS per minute. That's on the good side of 8.5 for a mid laner. You'd like that to be higher if he wants to get out of Academy. Nearly 70 KP though, which also is very good. 70 KP with a CS of 8.6 is solid. 27% kill share, 23% gold share, so the return on investments there. He put up carry-like numbers for the Academy team. Maybe if you can bring it up a notch in summer, maybe you can turn around and find a team in the LCS, lower level of LCS in 2023. Bot lane Lost. So I thought Lost stats were better than they were, and I've went over them multiple times already this offseason, and they're really not that good, and arrows are not that good. So they got better, and I did say this in the video when Immortals made the move. I said, well, at least they're getting younger. You can't take that away from them. They're getting younger, and I think they are better with Lost and Ignar versus Arrow and Destiny. But I don't think that it was a drastic improvement on paper. Lost has a KDA of 4, which is 1.3 better than Arrow. His CS per minute is... I just almost mixed my numbers up. Lost has 1 CS every other minute higher than Arrow, 0.51. Gotten a much more fights with Golden Guardians, 11% more fights than Arrow did with Immortals. So Lost gets involved more to kind of offset that lack of gold, but still 8.76 is not good enough in lane at a pro level. 33.8% kill share, 23.7 gold share, so he does carry with kills, but the problem is he's getting the kills, which brings his gold up to a respectable amount. Allows him to get items, but if he could farm better, he could be a top half 80 carry, but the farm isn't there. Played 6 champions in 19 games. Like I said, Arrow did not get in as many fights. Had 30% kill share, 22% gold share. Makes sense, the 22% gold share, because you look and you say, okay, well, Revenge had 23% almost. PoE at 23%. So really, there was no clear-cut carry on this team. Arrow and PoE got kills, but when it came to getting fed, it was anyone's game, and that's why the team struggled. They really didn't have a player that could take over. Arrow played 6 champions in 10 games. Ignar, I'm a fan of. I liked Ignar when he was with FlyQuest. I liked him when he was with EG. He's been around the block. He's a little older than I would like, but I do think that he provides experience that this team could use. He played with PoE when they went to Worlds and actually did very well given the situation FlyQuest was in. A lot of people didn't expect them to play the way they did. Very big upgrade over Joey and Destiny. 64.9% KP. He's more of a he was more of a roamer with FlyQuest, but EG really didn't execute on it all that much. 9 champions in 27 games. Excuse me. Excuse me. 9 champions in 27 games, 5 KDA. Joey's one game was awful, like I said with Chad. Joey's been in academy support for a long time, and I don't know if he's really going to get a look at the LCS level again anytime soon. This team, I don't think, is in the upper level of the LCS. I don't think they can reach there. PoE and Revenge can only take them so far. Do I think this team can be top 8 and make the playoffs? Yes, I think that the bottom 4 teams that we expect to be the bottom 4 teams, split in and split out, to be honest with you, are going to be down there. Excuse me again, it's just the same 4 players. So, that's that for Immortals. Comment down below. What do you think of the moves by Immortals? Who do you like? Who do you think should start at bot lane? Do you think it should be lost automatically? Do you think Arrow should be given a chance? If you watch Academy, what do you think of Kenvi? Do you think Kenvi can make a big difference for this team? Really, I think it's going to hinge on Kenvi. If Kenvi comes in and can be a carry potential player, all of a sudden this team may be, better than a bottom 4 team. But right now, it is definitely a bottom 4 team in my eyes. So, like the video if you like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow the playlist that I have for the LCS. I'm also uploading LEC videos every day, LCK videos, for their previews as we head into summer. I also have a video going over patch 12.11 and what teams benefited most in each region from the patch. And so thank you for watching the video, and I hope you come back for more content.